Hey guys, welcome to English. Sorry I'm not here today, but I decided to record myself because I have some important announcements for you that I think will help you make the most out of this period, even though I'm not here. So first thing, you need to get your folder. It's over here in the boxes. I'll get it for you. Okay. Inside your folder, the first thing you need to do is to find the calendar that I put in there for you, and it's gold, so go find it. This calendar is going to show you all of the due dates, my recommended due dates to get things done so you get your project on time, and I'm going to go over those due dates with you in a second. Before you do that, you'll also notice that on the bottom of every day, it's backwards, but you'll notice on the bottom of every day, there's something that says Group Self-Assessment 4, 3, 2, 1. You're going to grade your group on how well you work together every day for this project and record it on here. So to help your group stay on track, I'd like you, before you do anything else, to on the back of your calendar, on this section right here, copy down your collaboration agreements. Where are those, you say? Oh, Ms. Press, so organized. Here they are. They're right here in your folder. Do it. Okay, now that you copied your collaboration agreement onto your calendar, I want to show you how you're going to grade your group work today from now until you present your project. If you look on your calendar, right below where you wrote the collaboration agreements, here is the rubric that tells you what you have to do to exceed, what you have to do to meet, what you have to do to approach, and what you have to do in order to emerge. Let's just look at the exceeding because that's what we're all shooting for. Exceeding, everybody has to meet your in-class and your at-home goals. So that means if you say that everybody's going to look at puppet links and come up with ideas for puppets, everybody has to do that either in class or at home to meet that. The second one is about communication. It says that the group communicated well and supported all members to be successful all of the time. Where groups fall down is if you don't tell everybody what they need to be doing. So if everybody doesn't know what to do, people aren't going to do what they're supposed to do. If your group is exceeding the standard, everybody is supported and knows what they need to be doing in order to get work done. So to exceed, everybody needs to be working all the time, and to do that, they have to know what they should be doing. The last one down here is about conflict. You guys are going to be making decisions all the time about who's going to do what, who's going to play what lines matter, what lines don't matter. That's a lot of decisions, and so conflict's going to come up, and that's okay. Conflict always comes up when you make decisions. This last one right here is about how well you manage that conflict. So to get exceeding, you need to recognize, you have to know what's happening, and you have to manage that conflict, and you need to achieve group consensus about decisions. That means you have to get to a place you negotiate until everybody can agree. Meeting the standard means that you make decisions the group can live with. And that might mean that you take a vote and the person who loses is like, well, okay, I can live with that. That's meeting. Consensus is that you negotiate until everybody can agree. So again, you're shooting for exceeding the standard every day on group work, at least meeting the standard, and every day on the calendar, I'm going to ask you at the end of the period to circle the number that best represents how your group did that day. Okay? Okay guys, I wanted to go over what the project calendar looked like because this is what's going to help you plan your time in class. As you recall, again, I told you that yesterday, or Monday, and Tuesday were the 2 days where I was going to talk a lot. So I introduced the projects, I gave you the contact sheets, and then on Tuesday you got that lecture on tragic structure. Those are really the only 2 big days of me talking. So if you look through the rest of the calendar, you've got work time, work time, work time, work time, work time, all the way up until spring break. And then after spring break, you also have a block period to work, and your presentations will be the block period after spring break. So that's what's coming up, and it's up to you about how you want to organize that work time. Today is your first day of work time, and if you look as you plan what you're going to do in class, I'd like you to write down a to-do list for your group for the in-class section. So you're going to write, for example, you might want to make sure that all students know who they're doing for the character analysis. For example, that might be a to-do list in class. Maybe a to-do at home, if you haven't done it already, is to look at puppet links. So each day you're going to sit down before you start working and make your group a to-do list. And one way to do that is to think about what's coming up. So I wanted to go over some due dates with you. This Friday at the end of the period, the Literary Elements worksheet is due. And you're getting that in class. It's in your folder today. It's yellow, and that needs to be done by the end of class on Friday. I would recommend you have it done by the beginning of class on Friday because you'll notice that on Friday and on Monday, your work time is going to be in the computer lab. Again, you can do whatever you want during that time, but I would recommend that you work on your script because you can open up in Google Docs and have everybody working on it at the same time so that you can make those decisions about character and motif and other plot points that you want to make sure to include. On Tuesday, I'm trying to get us in the lab, but one period is difficult, so I'm not sure if we'll be able to do that or not. You'll definitely have another work period. That's the day that you'll need to divide up responsibilities and say who's doing each job. Your character analysis sheet is also due that Tuesday. The following Wednesday, Thursday block, you have more work time. I would recommend that you have your script draft done by then so you can do a read-through to time your script and make sure it fits within the time limit. Again, it's up to you how you want to manage that, but that's my recommendation, to have a draft of your script ready to read through. Based on that, it'll probably be way too long. You'll need to cut it down, and I would recommend that by Friday then you can read through it again and cut out the parts that you don't really need, and you'd want to have your puppets done by then so you can make sure that you have all the puppets that you need. You have only one day of rehearsal right here, the block right after you get back from break, and we'll have the stage set up so that you can try doing your puppets, reading your lines on the stage. But again, you only have one day of rehearsal with the stage before you do your final presentations. So make sure that you plan your time so that by the time you get to block, you are ready to do a full dress rehearsal with all of your puppets the day right when we get back from block. So that's your job every day. Each day you'll want to check in, make sure that you guys are on track for where you want to be, write yourself to-do lists for in class, for at home, and at the end of every day, including today, I'd like you to highlight how you think your group did for the group self-assessment. And you figure that out using this rubric right here, which is below your collaboration agreement. Okay, so I hope you use your time well today. Feel free to brainstorm, write down your ideas. If you want to add additional roles besides your team leader that you already have, feel free to write a recorder or a task manager to keep everybody on task, to keep people from getting distracted. Do what you need for your group to be functional. And if you have any questions about your literary elements worksheet or about the presentation itself, do go ahead and record those on the list on the board. I will be back on Friday and can answer those questions for you. The last thing I want to explain to you is a question that came up a lot during first period that people needed in order to plan their setting or to think about what their script would look like, and that is, what's the stage going to look like? So you can think about the stage. It's going to be built out of PVC pipe, and it looks like when you were little and you had the soccer banners where it was the white pipe with the fabric stretched over it. It's built like that. And you can imagine it's about the size of 2 tables pushed together, so that many desks together, which means that it's big enough and tall enough for your whole group to fit behind the fabric so the audience can't see you while you're doing your puppets and stuff. And so you'll have all your props and your puppets behind that stage. It's about my chin height tall so that you can sit behind it, and then it actually has a second level up above that, so you could have a puppet pop up right here or have a puppet pop up right here up high. So you've got a 2-level stage, and that's where you're going to be performing. Mr. Harding has built it, so I don't have it in my room. You won't really get to work with it until the Monday or Tuesday when you get to rehearse, but do know that's what it's going to look like. People's big questions were about how do we make setting, and I've got 2 suggestions for that. We'll probably be performing in room 210, if not in here. Either way, we do have a projector that could project a background onto a screen, but the thing that I think would probably be the best is to have some props that suggest the setting. So for example, if you're in a forest, you might want to make some trees that pop up to set the setting of a forest. Or if you're in a home, maybe you want to have a roof that pops up to set the setting for the house. So those are my suggestions. I've already heard some really cool ideas about changing the setting to future or to a sandwich shop, so people have ideas about changing the setting. You of course have flexibility in doing that, but do check with me before you make that final decision. The other ideas I've heard, people are talking about lights and how they could change the colors of the lights to match the mood of their play or change the music. Super cool ideas. So brainstorm all that stuff as you talk. It'll make your presentation more interesting and more fun for us all to watch. So good luck today. I hope your planning goes really well. If you have any further questions about the performance, write them down on the board if you would, and we'll keep a list so that I can see that on Thursday. And then on Friday, we're going to go to the lab, but I'll have time to answer those questions for you then. Good luck, use your work time well, and then the last 5 minutes, we're going to ask you to grade yourself on how well your group work went and give yourself a grade on that. So make sure that you're shooting for doing the things that will get you exceeding the standard. Good luck. See you tomorrow. Bye.